Hello, everybody. It's Daniella Rabbani, your host of the Mom Curious podcast. Wait, no. I need to know, is it Strimmel?
Strimmel.
Strimmel. What kind of last name is Strimmel?
It's Belgian. It's Flemish Belgian. Hidden Judaism in our
No!
family, yes.
Sarah Strimmel. That's why I was thinking, because a strimmel is the furry hat that the Hasidim wear.
Wait, that's what it's called?
A strimmel or a strimmel.
But I live in,
Williamsburg.
like
I live in
the core, in the heart
you
of
live
the
in
Hasidic.
Hasidim.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
town.
So it is called a strimmel, the hat that they wear.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure, like Sarah Strimmel Bentley? No, but Sarah Strimmel Bentley.
It could have been strimmel in Belgium. I mean, this is why.
But it was hidden Judaism. That happens.
My dad, all of a sudden, my dad has green eyes and had light curly hair when he was younger.
Yes.
And he was, I believe that right around the time where it was more convenient to look a certain way than another way, they all of a sudden were Catholic.
You know what? I think that makes a lot of sense, because why would you want to put yourself in harm's way? Also, 3 out of 4 of my grandparents had blonde hair and blue eyes. 2 of them have been in the Middle East for like thousands of years. They were like in Jerusalem and Esfahan in Iran, like blonde hair and blue eyes. It's so funny that people always think that
that's like
all
a non-Jewish trait.
I know.
And so I think that they were able to be that. And then my family history passed down to me was my mother's history was very rich on her side. We know we're from Poland and also England, and, a very, very like mixed bag over there on mom's side. But dad's side, dad was like, he was an only child. There's no records. Whereas my mom's side, family tree. And all of a sudden, I start to do some research on Ancestry.com, and I find out that my great-grandfather in the records is Jewish. Wow. And so I'm like, Dad, what's up with this Catholicism? Like, you couldn't have picked a further,
but you are
away.
Catholic. Like
I'm Methodist.
I thought you're Methodist because this is your mom's religion?
Right. Mom was Methodist, and Dad was like, oh, yeah, well, whatever. I'll just be whatever you are.
But do you know that I knew that ish about you because I follow you so closely?
I'm half Jewish,
but that part I didn't know.
Yes, but
wow, we are just dropping truth bombs. Look at there's baby Chance in the house. Woo-woo. I am here with Sarah Strimmel Bentley, Broadway star, entrepreneur, cool mom, breast cancer survivor. What else? There's just so much.
So much.
Oh,
I'm a slash.
You're a slash.
I'm a slash.
You're a multi-hyphenate. You're a speaker.
Yes.
You are such a beautiful, inspirational speaker. Oh my God.
Thank you.
So do you know how I met you? You don't know how I met you because I met you before you met me.
I was going to say, I was like, I feel like, but no, how did I meet? How did we meet?
No, it's not we. It's only
how did you meet me?
This is the thing. The day Chance was born, the internet went crazy.
Lost their mind.
You do understand because maybe you understand more. You likely understand even more than I do, but from an outsider's perspective, the amount of joy that was experienced by seeming strangers about this woman, Sarah's birth of her son, Chance, was enormous. So when I go down the rabbit hole and I say, why is everyone making such a big deal? It's because you are so fucking beautiful on so many levels.
Thank you, girl. I'm gonna cry. This is too early to cry in this podcast. Let's get those Kleenex.
Okay, we dropped some bombs. We're doing some.
Listen. No, thank you.
The way people love you. Wow.
It was spectacular because, everybody's had kids. What's so special? And as I tell my story today and we get into it a little more, it was by me documenting my breast cancer journey and then documenting my subsequent infertility surrogacy journey on the internet, I opened myself up to a lot of criticism.
No.
A million times. There are people who are against things like IVF and surrogacy and they let you know. But what was so worth it was all of you said, the joy and the support and the love. And I believe that my son over here,
he's here, guys.
Who's
Did I
sitting
mention
here
that he's
smiling
here?
at us like a little happy potato. He's a chunky guy. The amount of love that this kid got in the heavens is what I truly believe brought him down here to us. So what you felt the day he was born, all of that is part of the reason why I think he, against all odds, is here.
Made it.
Miracle guy. Yeah.
Miracle guy.
Yeah.
Should we talk about how miraculous he is? Like, he's the one chance.
He is.
He is the one and only chance.
Are you Chance? Were you mommy's only chance at having a baby of her own? You were, huh? Yeah, let's talk. I mean, I guess to tell the story so people understand, like, why this is so.
Side note about criticism on the internet, like, if people could criticize this magnificent story, like, it actually gives me a little bit of hope, because I'm like, oh, like, there's nothing holy to that person, like, that you don't get it. No. If you don't get that, then you don't get it, and that's not my problem.
Right, and you're never gonna get it, and it's not our job to change their minds.
I really appreciate that, because, like, there are critics on the internet about a myriad of, like, benign, lovely sometimes things. They we don't need to give them the time of day.
No, and it's interesting. Like, this morning, right before I came here, I think you saw the reel that I recorded.
Oh, I loved it so much.
I like woke up. I looked like I had stuck my finger in like 18 sockets. I looked like electrified, like hair, and the baby's got food all over him. The dog is vomiting in the corner.
The dog in the corner vomiting was my favorite part.
That was like halfway through the reel. I was like, and now the dog is puking.
I gotta go.
But this was about me, being a mess and allowing myself to be a messy new mom spinning 100 plates. And even on that, which was meant, a lot of my content now is meant, it's just entertainment. Like, we're all in this together. Like, all of us can have a laugh. And even then, they take anything they can. There was a comment being like, oh, you think that's hard? Try being a single mom and raising your child. And I was like, I am, you're amazing that you're doing that.
Yeah.
And in no way, shape, or form by me saying that this was stressful to me is saying that yours isn't. So it's a really, and it's all through people's lenses. They're commenting from their own lens of whatever they're going through. So that's what you have to remember. Some people are just like, okay, like,
I appreciate that you keep going, because your story of, like, your breast cancer survival story and subsequent like great fucking life is something people really need to hear. And if those women, men, women, whoever they are, would chip away at that would be such a shame for all of us. And I just want to say I'm just so grateful that you have the backbone to just be like, oh, that's a you thing.
Thank you. I think I have a feeling it was from like an entire lifetime in show business, as you can relate.
Yeah.
And just in the dressing room, like, ridiculous things. Like, if I was on Zero, for those of you listening that, like, Zero is center stage. And if I got put on center stage and this other girl was on 2, which was like a foot to the right or left of me, then I all of a sudden was like a target on my back, So people would constantly, not everybody, there were some lovely people in show business as well. But I think that sort of resiliency from criticism that you get when you put yourself out there on stage, literally, I think that helps this too.
Build character.
Yeah. Just build.
Also, like, surviving, cancer.
You're
just like, are you crazy? Like, you're gonna ruin my day, bitch. Like, no. God wants me here. Like, and my fucking baby. Yeah. So bigger than you, bigger than both of us.
It's perspective. And I always just try to be gracious and graceful if I answer. A lot of times I don't answer. And so I mean, and again, we have to give people the grace and the love that maybe they're searching for when they're assholes on the internet. Can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know. Oh, we got a kid in the wires. I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pick him up. He's gonna be on my lap for a second. All right, guys. So I got Chance on my lap.
Hi, baby boy.
Should we talk about how you got here, Chancey? How'd you get here?
Hi.
You wanted to be here because it's a nice life.
We're going to talk about how cold you were frozen in an IVF clinic for 2.5 years before you came.
Is that true? 2.5 years?
Yeah. So we froze him right before I started chemotherapy in 2020. We froze him in October of 2020. And he came to us in December of 2023.
Wow.
So he was unfrozen successfully August. I know this date by heart. April, I want to say it was like April 9th, 2022. Yes? No. 2023. In any effect, he was frozen for a while.
Yeah. Wait, what happened in those 2.5 years? Just casual living?
So shall I'll give the listeners my backstory then?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I always start my story off like this. And interject, please, because it's long and rambling. I was like 38 years old. I was 38 years old, dating in New York for quite some time.
As you do.
Yeah, I had quit Broadway after 15 years and 7 different Broadway shows. Because the schedule wasn't working for me. I didn't want to date an actor. No offense to actors. Yeah, I mean, I
also
dated.
You did it.
Yeah, I
7
did
times.
It. Right, and I just to me there was another step, right? Another kind of like rebirth to happen. So I opened some yoga studios in the Hamptons. I lived on a 30-foot sailboat for a year because I couldn't afford to live in the Hamptons after I opened the studio. So you can kind of get my tolerance for sort of risk and like adventure. And just adventure. Yes, adventure. You just never know what's around the corner. So
even just being a Broadway dancer, singer, actor, like that in and of itself is risky.
Oh, 100%.
So like you started off at a pretty high tolerance.
Yeah. You're in a show and you walk in one night and there's a note on the call board that says, okay, show's closing in a week. And then you're like, and how do I pay my rent?
Exactly. Yeah.
I always say it's like the floor drops out at any given moment and you just have to know how to land on your feet when the floor is pulled out from underneath you. So
you have very good balance. I've seen you work out.
Thank you. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. So I'm running these yoga studios. I'm like out in the Hamptons as a single woman, surfing and the whole thing.
Living.
Great. Wonderful times. And then, I'm dating in New York City, trying it all, trying everyone on for size, wanting to find my guy, as we usually, if that's our thing, or if you want to find your girl, but find your partner. And I, I'm frustrated. I'm like, God, there's no good guys in New York City. And I want to have a baby too. I want to have a family. I want to have a husband. I want all that.
You knew that in your 30s?
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. But for a while in my 30s, I would date and almost like, because I was so like verklempt. I'm like, where is the guy? I would be like, oh, I could be a stepmom. Like, I don't need my own kid.
Yeah. And that is a mom.
100% is a mom.
Yeah.
I dated a man who was a widow who had 3 gorgeous children. I was like, yes. And I don't need to be married. But then subconsciously I'd move my grandmother's ring onto my ring finger, telling myself, I don't need those things. And then in my 30s, I drilled down to, I really do. I really do want to be married. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that.
Yeah.
And so I started to date more intentionally a few years before I met my now husband, saying, like, not in a weird way, not being like first date, will you marry me? Do you want babies?
But not.
But no, I'd wait like a couple dates and I would just say, like in a chill way, I'm like, here's what I want from my life. So if it's not aligned with you being open to those things, not saying that we're going to do it. Oh, is that what you want as well, my love?
Chance is into this part.
My child is tearing apart Kleenex.
He's like, this is where mom and dad meet.
Are you gonna give?
I know, this is where it gets started. Let's go.
You're gonna give some sound effects.
Let's do this.
So fast forward, I'm on the apps and I'm dating in this intentional way. I know what I want, and I meet James Spencer Bentley.
What a name! What a guy!
Oh my God, what a guy! Hilarious. Like, met him on The League, which is this app that you have to have gone to an Ivy League college.
Did you go to an Ivy League
college? Hail to the no. I did not go.
So how did you? Just the guys have to be on?
No, everyone, except how there's always exceptions to everything in New York City.
You're hot.
When they launched the app, they wanted to spice it up a bit with some showgirls apparently. And
they did.
Yeah. So, but he doesn't, we just kind of talked a little. So I'm like walking into this first date. He's in a Ralph Lauren high black turtleneck, sitting up very tall.
He is sort of fancy.
He's very fancy. Well, James Spencer Bentley.
It's not that he's fancy. Like formal?
Yeah.
Is he actually formal or does he just seem formal?
He's got 2 sides.
Okay.
He's either super formal, dress, very fancy. And then he's like, I've worn these same pair of shorts with the holes in them for an entire week at home and look like, a homeless person.
Yeah.
Sorry, James. I just gave up your secret. You're very dapper, darling. So I walk into this first date and he's looking like so put together and I'm in like a floor-length duster coat, slick back hair, giant hoops, rock and roll t-shirt. And I knew he was a finance guy. And I had said going into, 38, no more finance guys.
Why? Because they're douchebags? Are they actually douchebags?
Some of them.
Well, not James.
You know, no, definitely not James.
Actually, not.
No, he's not. Really he's amazing. We love him. We love him. We love him. So
you guys are, wait, you'll fall in love. Just give us a second. He's really, actually,
we love him.
Amazing.
Yeah. So go to this first date. I'm late because I end up dancing with a bunch of homeless people. I tell James.
Actual homeless people?
Yeah, actually homeless people. It was like Rent. There's on Avenue B, there is a group of people. They set up these like Christmas lights. Hi. You want to go down on the ground for a little bit? Let me get you a toy. Yeah, you want to come to mom? Maybe you will be happier. So I like find these people dancing and I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, this is what we do all the time. And I had a suspicion that they might do illegal things as well. Like, things that are illicit on the corner.
Drugs.
Yes, drug dealers. But they were nice. They were kind drug dealers. So I go to James. I'm like, I'm late to this date. He's like, where were you? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I met these homeless people that like Rent. I danced with them. They want me to bring you back if it's a good date to meet them.
My new friends.
And I think he was like, what's happening here? So we have 2 drinks. We have an amazing date. And I said, would you meet my new friends?
My new friend.
And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, right away. I'm like, this guy's cool. He's got adventure in him. We buy them a case of whatever bougie beer they had at the bodega, bring it as like an offering. This man, Angel, who's like the head drug dealer, was like my guy. And Angel, he's our Angel. So Angel's like, oh, you brought him. You brought the guy. And then James met him. Then this woman with no teeth who like a soothsayer, she literally was like, this is the love of your life.
But she's right.
She was right. And James and I danced, and he like listened to this toothless, crazy
danced
woman. Danced with
your
all
new
of
friends.
them. Salsa with Angel.
Wow.
And
Chance is obsessed with this story.
You love the story.
He's like, how kooky are my parents?
We're the kookiest. You're a Bentley. You're going to be kooky too. So yeah, that was
He's
the first
wearing
date.
leopard.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, leopard and stripes. We have a mixed pattern. It's chevron going on.
Everything's going great.
So great. So yeah, that was our first date, and the rest is history. And there's a lot of rest, but that's sort of how I met my now husband.
And like, where do we go from here? Right?
We can like continue in a more like succinct manner from there. But you asked me.
No, I just have so many questions. I'm like, did you know the second you saw him, like that's the guy? But also,
no, not the second I saw him, but the moment we like he went back and he was like in it on the street and he like had his arm around me and we had one magical kiss. I knew then. You knew. I didn't know what was gonna come.
How long did that honeymoon period last before like shit hit the fan and got super real?
Okay, honey, we're gonna make you a happy guy on the floor, maybe. How long? So we dated for 3 months and then COVID hit, like a global pandemic, casual, yeah. And we decided we were gonna quarantine together, and we ended up going to my parents in Sarasota, Florida. James packed like we were going for a week. I had a feeling this was gonna be a little more intense than a week, and we ended up staying for 3 months.
Wow.
In Sarasota with my parents. He had never met my parents, and like we were newly dating. Like it's wild. Like, but how we all did wild things during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we ended up being like, we got to go back to New York. Like,
he got along with your parents?
Loves. Every night we cooked.
Still?
Oh, loves. They come, they lived with us for a month during chemo. Yeah. My parents are rad though. What you were saying earlier when we were talking about birthday wishes and like learnings is my parents are my best friends. Like,
oh, wow.
I FaceTime them probably 3 times a day with him. And my husband like doesn't understand because he doesn't have that relationship with his family.
Yeah, a lot of people don't actually.
Yeah.
But you said something recently when Chance got sick for the first time. You're like, I really understand. And God forbid Chance should ever be as sick as you were. But you're like, I understand this like helpless, awful feeling that my mother must have felt when I was sick.
Yeah.
It's like we get a portal into, oh my God, like as children, we have no idea what our parents are going through until we're parents ourselves. And they know it. Like they tell us when we're growing up, they're like,
just wait.
Yeah. Just wait. Or I hope you have a kid just like you. And it's like, you like hear it when you're a kid and you're like, you don't really understand. And then, wow. I mean, the last 9 months, I'm sure you're like, whoa.
I do, because it's like, if you look into, if you like perspective wise, is Chance like had a cold. He had a cold and I was losing my mind. Or he bumps his head. I was losing my mind. I was like, what must it have been like for my mother to walk me into my double mastectomy or to like be there and watch my husband, I'm definitely gonna cry, watch my husband shave my head, you know? And gosh, they were brave and they were amazing. But the reality of that, like having your kid like look death in the face is pretty gnarly. And my mom is like such a gangster for, you know, being there and being a strength of support, a source of strength when she needed it herself.
She did such a good job with you.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
She did such a fucking good job. Holy cow.
I just
and now we know her. Now we know, like, you know, sometimes when I see like, you know, parents or grandparents, I always, if they did a good job, I always tell them, you did a good job.
Oh yeah.
Because now I know that it's not easy.
None of it.
None of it is easy. And the fact that like, you know, when I don't know your mom, but like whenever I do, you share about her and I get a chance to catch a glimpse of her. I'm like, she's so full of joy and pride.
She is my favorite thing to say about my mom is like, and this is, you know, not exactly verbatim. I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, I have breast cancer. And obviously this lands very hard. And she's, you know, has a moment where it takes her breath away. And she literally, this is the things my mom does. She looks at me, she's like, okay, sweetie, you want to go to Costco? Like, so my mom is like, the sky is falling. And she's like,
snacks?
There's a sale at Bloomingdale's. Because what my mom wants, because my mom is like, okay, I understand that this is, you know, high level, like the earth is shattered, but we can still go to Costco and get free samples. You know what I mean? And that is because she always sees joy and positivity. And she taught me that without me realizing it. And through this journey that I've been on, the way I was able to maintain my positivity and my joy is, I think, really largely due in part to my mom's inability to process reality sometimes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
She's
and
amazing.
I really see like what an amazing mom you are.
Thank you.
You learned that from someplace.
And he's, I have to say, like, not to pat myself on the back yet, it's like early days, but he's the happiest baby.
Yeah.
He's just so happy all the time. And so, you know, I wonder what parts of our children are truly genetic and what we, you know, is environmental and what is energetic and what parts they gleaned from us, how we live our life and just how they're wired. And it's wild to see just like how happy this little dude is all the time. Unless he's mad, in which case.
Unless he's mad, in which case he's allowed. He's a human.
Very
but like
mad.
He's like in a totally new place right now and just chilling hard.
He's like exploring.
He's saying hi. Hi, Johan, our beautiful engineer. Johan. Hi.
Johan has a new boyfriend.
Hey.
Hey, boo.
You know what I was thinking? I know I'm jumping around.
I do.
But I do find that you share the linear story, and I hope you guys do follow her, Sarah, on Instagram and follow her journey. And so you can hear the more linear story there. And perhaps you've already heard it, but something that really stuck out to me is like the way you infused, I'll say your pregnancy, you know, your surrogacy process with so much joy. Yeah. And I have to believe that also impacted all those yummy hormones that Chance was baking in all this time. Like, you somehow were you already cancer free by the time you decided to go the surrogacy route?
Yeah. So I mean, just maybe I'll give a brief kind of why.
Yeah.
So I was diagnosed with stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma, which is invasive breast cancer, at 38, 9 months after I had started dating James Spencer Bentley. We had just moved into a new house we bought together. In the Hamptons, we were walking on the beach. I found a lump, came out of nowhere. Everything that happened after that was very quick and very intense. From the day I got diagnosed, 15 days later, was on the table for a double mastectomy where they completely removed all of my lymph nodes in my left armpit, right? 15 days later. In the 15 days leading up to my double mastectomy, I had countless tests, MRIs, CAT scans, PET scans, sat in the offices of many different doctors, one of whom was an IVF doctor, because they informed me that my treatment would most likely render me infertile. And we needed to preserve my fertility if James and I wanted to have a family, which we very much did. We were still dating, you know. So we did 2 back-to-back rounds of IVF right after my double mastectomy. I still had like my surgical drains in. We made this little guy the first round, froze him, named him Chance, because he was our chance at having a baby. And the second round, we were hoping we could freeze a little girl, and we named her Hope because she was our hope. And the second round, our embryo was abnormal, genetically tested. So they froze it, they tested it, wouldn't have supported life. So we had to discard it, right? Yeah, I know. Hope's looking over at us right now, though. And then 8 rounds of chemo, 28 rounds of radiation.
8 rounds of chemo?
Yeah, ACT chemo.
I have the dumbest question.
No, it's not dumb. No question is dumb.
Does it hurt?
Chemo?
Yeah.
When going in?
I guess.
No. So it's you get it. My doctor uses IVs, not ports. Happy guy. It hurts after. So the effects of the chemo in your body, basically chemo is meant to destroy everything. Bad cells and good cells. Hey, you want your passy? So chemo is meant to destroy all the things in its path. So your cancer gets killed, but also you lose all your hair, all the hair on your body. It kills. Okay, you want to make you happy?
Hang out with me?
Come for this. He smells like a poopy. You want to take a pause and change him and give him a reset?
I'll listen to this answer,
okay.
But I don't mind. I haven't had a poopy diaper smell in a long time.
I know, because there's poop in your pants.
Do you want a passy while we chat? Okay. So I just don't want you to cry over this story. I know it's hard to hear mommy's cancer story. So yeah, after the 8 rounds of chemo hurts during, it messes you up. I mean, and a lot of the drugs they give you with the chemo, like to keep your white blood cells up, there's a shot called Neulasta. It feels like your bones are being exploded inside your body when it's making the new white blood cells. So I would be like crawling on the ground some nights screaming. God bless my boyfriend, James. He would just like rub my back and just be like, what can I do? He was an angel. James didn't run away when I got diagnosed. I was like, this guy might leave me. He has no reason to stay. And he stayed. And not only did he stay, he was magnificent. He proposed to me during chemo. I was bald. He took me to like Blue Hill Stone Barn upstate and gave me this gorgeous ring. And, I was in a turban. It was wild.
You still looked good, I have to say.
I did look good bald, though. You
really
never know.
Wait, let's change his diaper.
Yeah, let's change it. Let's take a pause. Okay.
We're taking a pause to change a poopy diaper. Some people pause to sell you stuff. I'm pausing to change a poop diaper. It's just like the most incredible experience to be like to hear like really the saddest of the sad, but to like witness the joy of joys.
So you were asking if chemo is painful.
Oh, I did ask that.
Yeah, chemo sucks. But like also I had to look at it like chemo was saving my life. So I tried to like do little prayers to chemo and thank it at the same time. So like kind of reframing what that was doing. Yeah, so 8 rounds of chemo, that was 4 months, and then 28 rounds of radiation. In that time, that little frozen guy was the thing that was getting me through all of it because I had hope. Or actually I had a chance. Hope was looking over us. So I had a chance. To after all the breakdown, everything I lost, we did another sort of screening to see if treatment truly had completely taken away my fertility, and it had. I'll never forget the day in the doctor's office when the screen came up when they were doing the ultrasound, and my ovaries were black.
You could tell.
You can see it because you can see like have you ever had like a sonogram where you can see your ovaries?
I don't even remember because it wasn't a
natural pregnancy,
right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, so because you had natural pregnancies.
Yeah.
So like when you do fertility assistance, they put the ultrasound wand there, and you see the little egg follicles. So like when I did my first 2 rounds of IVF, I could see like 12 little round. It almost looks like a chocolate chip cookie each ovary.
Wow.
So this time I knew what it should look like, and it was no chips, right? And so that was one of the hardest days in this whole thing was I realized that all of my now dreams were riding on this one chance. And they grade them. They grade the embryos. And the embryo chance was an AC, day 7 embryo. For anyone that's listening and you have done fertility assisted treatment, it's like a 20% chance of working. Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't give me that number at that point. So I knew I had one embryo frozen. I knew we had no chance at doing any more retrievals. And then I sat down with my oncologist, who also gave me the news within like the same month. She said, you're not going to be able to carry this embryo because of your age.
How old were you?
I was at that point 30. I got 39 after middle treatment. I was 39. I was 39, or was I 40? But
around that.
And the reason the age is important is because we're on certain types of breast cancer. The most common type, which is a hormone-positive breast cancer, you're on treatment for 10 years. You take a pill that keeps all the estrogen out of your body, because our cancer, if you're hormone positive, feeds on estrogen. So if there's no estrogen, the cancer can't grow, right? So I'm cancer-free at this point, ostensibly, right? But it can come back, and you don't want that.
Right.
So my oncologist said, listen, you can take a break from your medication 5 years into this, which would put you at 45, which would be a high-risk pregnancy. You've never been pregnant. I was never pregnant before this. And you have one embryo. Like,
they didn't like the chances.
No, and not for my health and not for the success of him getting here. She said, you're gonna need a surrogate. And again,
she's the one who said it.
Mm-hmm, yeah, because it's up to
God.
her.
I love to hear a great doctor.
Oh my God,
I love
amazing.
A doctor who says, I love you. I want to make your dreams come true.
Yep.
Here's a way.
Yeah, I have my medical team at Dubin Breast Center at Mount Sinai is just like the dream. They're all women. They're incredible. They're the best at what they do. It's just they're really the reason I'm here, and the reason I think my son is here for sure. And RMA, who's also part of Mount Sinai. Did you hear the thing that's been going around where they say that your baby has been in your body when you were born?
Yeah.
Have you seen that meme? And I don't know how they say it, but like basically the egg that made your child has been with you since your birth.
Yeah. And also, like, we were in our grandmothers.
Wild.
I know.
Like so every single soul on earth is such a miracle.
I know.
Right? I love that his name is Ness. Yeah, I mean, watching Chance every day, because it's hard to be a mom. So I think like this is evolution, is like, let's also make them just
He's clapping at it's hard to be a mom.
He's clapping at all of this.
He's like, let's keep it real.
I know, but I think evolutionary wise, like, it also is like they're so cute, and they're doing things every day, and they're learning, and they're quick, and they're smart, and you're like, holy moly, how did they observe that and do that? And I think that it occurs because it offsets the heart of all the mom things.
I actually love that you share that like motherhood is challenging and messy and all of that, because I think like we all know how grateful you are that Chance is here.
Yeah.
And you're also a human fucking being. And I just want to say thank you.
Oh my God. No, thank you. Like, it's true. Because it's like, at first I felt bad.
No, do not feel bad.
Because I never wanted to sound ungrateful.
Oh,
but I knew I'm like I keep it real as a person. You're getting to know me. Like, I tell it like it is. And so you can be two things at once. You can be profoundly grateful for this miracle, magical kid that is on my lap. And you can also be like, whoa, motherhood rocks you. And I don't know who I am. I literally changed my hair 3 times in the last month because I'm
every single one is great.
Am I? Thank you.
I mean, bald even. You're just hot. You're just hot. You just got it. There's nothing you can do. There's no wrong turn here, really. He's clapping at that.
You're like, yay. But no, I mean, like I was spent, $2,000 to get extensions because I was like, who am I? What is this motherhood, Sarah?
Yeah.
Who is the person I've become? Because it changes you, man.
I think that's like the equalizer. It's like, I think, of course, you had this peak life experience, awful experience but you also are like the most relatable everyday regular mom where you're like, who am I? Yeah. And also, is there shit in my hair? Tell me.
There actually might be stone in my hair.
No,
or actual shit.
No, I mean actual shit. That's what I meant. Is there actual vomit on my shirt? Like, is that happening? Yeah, it's like no matter where we've come from and what we've done, what country, motherhood really is like such an equalizer. I want to know how the surrogacy process went for you. I know like you documented it so much, and I want everyone to go watch this because your relationship with your surrogate is one of the holiest things I have ever seen. Family.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, surrogacy is, I'm so grateful it exists. I'm so grateful it's legal in America. I'm so grateful it is regulated in America the way that it is. And I'm so grateful that as a family, we could afford it because it's prohibitively expensive. It's like $150,000, right? It wasn't easy to afford, but we made it work. And I think about all the women that went through what I went through and then got to the point of needing a surrogate and then their family just couldn't do it, right? And what happens? So my surrogate, we found an angel. Her name is Whitney, and she putting your greatest possession, right, into the hands of someone else as a mother, and being pregnant is a holy thing, and putting that experience into the hands of a person that lives states away and just trusting that you picked the right person to bring in a healthy, happy, amazing way your miracle into the world is no easy feat. And I had to just let go of the control that you feel. And because a lot of people I talk to, they're like, our surrogate has to eat organic. Our surrogate has to do this. And I'm like, here's the deal. As long as she takes care of him like I would take care of him, I have to let go of all of that and just say that she is going to do the best she can for my baby. And I did. And I operated in that way. And Whitney is incredible. She's just a kind, wonderful, chill. She's a nurse.
She's a mom, right?
She's a mom. She's got, you have to have been a mom to be a surrogate.
I did not know that.
Because they have to know that you had a healthy pregnancy.
Wow.
Or a couple.
First surrogacy?
Yeah, first and only. She's never going to do it again. Not because it was a bad experience, but she's like, I can't imagine it being better than it was with us.
I can't imagine it being better.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I mean,
how did you choose her?
We have an agency that's amazing out of Boston, and they, women apply to the agency, and then they kind of do like a Yenta matchmaking thing where they're like, this family, it's like dating, and you go on a couple dates and you decide if this is the person that's going to carry your one and only miracle embryo. But I made the right choice. We made the right choice, my husband and I, but it was really a woman to woman a lot. My husband just was like, okay, babe, like Whitney and I were on the phone and we were talking about everything about her love life to, like her pickle cravings and pickle chips. And so, yeah, I didn't know how it was going to go, but we became sisters, and she is his aunt and her kids call him brother.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And we see them a couple times a year. Like he got baptized with her children.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. So it's how we've decided to do the process, because it was the only way that made sense for me, Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, thank you. I know, and thank you for understanding that my baby is here with me.
It is so, so, so beautiful. I feel like he's just like sprinkling his like fairy dust all over
hopefully, or his poop all over the studio.
His poop all over the studio.
Which I guess is the same thing.
Kind of.
He's got a
both.
wire.
Okay, so in true mom fashion, the baby is done with this conversation.
I think, Chance, honey. Chance, do you want to say anything? Maybe let me grab him and let's see. Let's see, and then we'll give it one good shot. We'll give it one good. Ugh.
Hi, Cookie. It's so funny because he looked like you for so long, and now I don't know what it is. I guess his hair is getting lighter, and he looks so much like your husband.
You look like Daddy.
But I'm respecting your time, sir. I get it. Listen. I also started late, if I'm being honest. I hardly ever ask people for their advice because I don't care for other people's advice, really. Right. And I don't feel like anyone's really an expert. No. But if you had advice on this particular thing, and I think it's like such a special experience that like, thankfully, not a lot of people will go through, but there are going to be people who are listening to this who are in the middle of breast cancer, who want children, who are looking to you, and I'm sure you know that some of them, that they're looking to you and they're saying, do you have some advice for me? And I just thought before we go, we should probably give you the mic to let you know, to like let them know if you do. Is there advice?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, I love their perspective. Like, how can we give advice when all of us really just like are trying our best, right?
I know, but you're not an expert in, but you're an expert in this. You are.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if there is someone that can give advice on this, I do feel very comfortable saying it would be me.
He's literally
he raised his hand to say, yes, mommy knows. Mommy knows. Listen, I did not see that this would be my path to motherhood. I couldn't. If you would have said $1 million, this is what was going to happen, I would never have believed you, right? But the fact that I'm holding my miracle baby in my lap, and the fact that the power of science and the power of prayer and devotion and manifestation and the power of community and sisterhood and family, it all,
and your body, your body to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
And to in the face
and to
of,
make this beautiful love bundle.
Yeah. I mean, for my body to be like, okay, I'm going to give you these eggs and we're going to, and whatever all the higher powers are, for all that to come together and this to all happen, it was what I just said. It was science and prayer, but it also was just the belief. I could have focused on what I lost. I could have focused on the fact that I wasn't carrying my son. I could have focused on the fact that, he's never going to have a sibling of his, genetically of his own. I could have focused on all the things that happened to me, but instead I made the choice, and this is very important for anyone that if you ever have to face this, I made the choice to focus on the things that would be, to manifest the things that and the fact that I know, honey, and the fact that no matter how we got here, we're here now, and I'm a mom. And through my journey, Robin Roberts says, make your mess your message. Through this journey and this, and you said it at one point in the conversation, how many people were sending love to get him here that we've never met. Millions of people around the world. So focusing on like this little guy could bring people together in that sort of happiness and that sort of joy. So just know that like magic comes out of the unexpected and out of some of the most traumatic experiences of your life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chance, I cannot believe how lucky I got to hang out with you.
You did a good job, buddy. You were well behaved.
I love your baby smell. I love your sweet, curious nature. I love your mom so much. I am so grateful.
Ditto. New bestie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. Thank you for having us and for being like just incredibly inquisitive about the process and just also, welcoming Crazy Chance into our podcast.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Where do we continue to learn and love you?
Yeah. Sure. So I document most things now, new momhood, on my Instagram and my TikTok, and the handle's the same. It's Sarah Strimmel Bentley, SarrahStrimelBentley. Yes, that's
you guys heard name. There are 2 R's in there.
Yes, 2 R's.
Your mom's got sass.
Mom had a problem when she was a teenager with her parents naming her such a basic name, and that's a long story for another time.
Okay. I can't wait to meet your mom one day. I love you. I thank you. I'm going to keep following along closely. Okay, friends, see you in 2 weeks. Keep in touch.
Mwah.
Thank you, as always, for listening to the Mom Curious podcast. My name is Daniella Rabbani. I am your host, and I would love to continue this conversation at Daniella Rabbani on Instagram. And if you'd be so kind to rate and review, share this podcast, I would be just really grateful. Catch you next time, every Tuesday on the Mom Curious podcast. Produced by Hoff Studios. You can find them at Hoff Studios on Instagram as well. All right, have a great day.